One of my favorite players on the World Tour, the 2007 World Pool Champion, all the way from Blackpool, England, Daryl Peach. And the reason I say you're one of my favorites is because you always buy me dinner. Okay, no, that's not true. Because, I remember in 2007, and that's really where I got my introduction to you, because I was living in the Philippines and, working for Matchroom and all that. But, wow, still, to this day, one of my favorite moments in pool. Thanks for coming in, Daryl.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite moments.
Obviously. So, I guess not the result you wanted here at the World Pool Series so far, but what do you think about what Darren's done here at the WPS?
No, not the best result for me, but let's just talk about the setup and everything. Absolutely brilliant, I thought. Darren's put a lot of time and effort into it. All the staff, everybody really. A lot of positives. One thing I will say though is I'm disappointed with the amount of Americans that played. I mean, I only played this tournament because of personal issues earlier in the year.
Yeah.
But I was very surprised. Only I think it was 18 American players in the field, which shocked me.
Well, we're looking at some of the most difficult conditions that I've ever seen in pool and 8-ball, and I guess a lot of players feel that why spend this money if it's going to be so tough, which is a shame, because Americans often complain that there's not enough tournaments.
Exactly.
And here comes a guy doing something about it. And not getting the support he wanted. But he's getting the support from guys like you. Amazing. You come all the way over from England.
This is it, yeah. I mean, the conditions for me, and the way the tournaments ran, the publicity, everything's as near to as good as it could get for the first year especially. So you've got players coming from Taiwan, and there's a player from Australia as well.
Yeah.
The other side of the world. They're paying good money to get here.
Yeah.
But then players in their own backyard, I'm not going to mention any names, but they're screaming out for more tournaments, and then when good tournaments come along like this, where are they?
Right. Well, let's go back in time a little bit. We all know you in the pool world from winning the World Pool Championship, but you were actually quite an accomplished snooker player back in the day. Give me some of the highlights of your snooker career and some of the things you've accomplished before you turned to pool.
Well, I played snooker from the age of, I think it was about 12, and I sort of improved very quickly. I took to it like a duck to water. So before my 16th birthday, I'd had over 200 century breaks. So in 4 years of starting, it's rare. And then I went on, I've had 8 maximums, 8 147s. In amateur, never played Ronnie O'Sullivan in professional ranks, but in amateur tournaments, growing up, played him 5 times, and I actually won 3 of them. And then I joined the pro ranks, won lots of matches, but it was so hard back then to break through, and I wasn't earning enough money, to survive.
Yeah.
So,
why did you turn to American pool?
Well, that's what happened. I had to make a decision. I couldn't keep playing snooker and not earning enough money. So one of my friends said to me, he says, "You know what, I've heard something about this pool, the American pool, a 9-ball. And I says, at first I says, oh, that's for a game for people who can't play snooker in it. So he says, no, he says, it's great, it's like fast and attacking and all. I went, okay. So I went to a tournament in England, it was in Halifax in England. Nobody knew me because I'd never played pool before. And I ripped through the field and smashed everybody up, and I won the tournament. So I looked for another tournament a couple of months later. I won that. I won the next one. So my first 3, I won them. So all of a sudden I thought, well, maybe there's something in this for me. So, it suits how I play maybe. So I carried on, and then I got invited to the Masters Matchroom event in 1996.
That was when you had hair.
Oh yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
The long blonde, curly locks.
Oh,
yeah,
it was flowing. Yeah. But yeah, I got invited to that. I won that. This is all in the first year of starting playing pool, and then from that I got invited into the Moscone Cup, won that. So that was me sort of, on the ball was rolling then, and I thought, well, maybe snooker's given me good fundamentals and for my technique and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm always grateful for that.
All right, so you always heard this thing, and people hear this in pool, and I think you'd be a good person to dispel this thing, because you just said that snooker players say, 9 ball, look at the pockets or buckets, anybody can play that game. What is the difference from snooker? Why why is it not as easy as snooker players think from afar when they look at 9 ball?
Why is 9 ball difficult?
Yeah, more difficult than it appears to a snooker player. What is it that
Because it's not just all about pocketing balls.
Which is what snooker is about.
Well, no. Like, if a snooker player comes to 9 ball from never playing it and plays a top 9 ball player, any of the top 9 ball players, he's not going to win. Because, all right, he can make all the balls and he's never going to miss a pot, but also the top 9 ball players don't miss either. Plus they've got the knowledge, they've got the safes, they've got the kicking, they've got the break, whereas the snooker player hasn't got any of that. So pocketing balls, yeah. So once he's got the technique, he's got the fundamentals and a rock solid base to work on, but then you need to build on the knowledge and
right. Okay. So, all right, you took the pool then. Then when did you get to the IPT? Was that?
Yeah. I actually, when people were signing up for the IPT, I missed out. I didn't sign up for it, so I had to enter like a tour card qualifier, and I entered it, and there was about 80 players in it, including players like Cowboys and lots of players. They came from Japan, all over the place, America, everywhere, and I ended up winning it. So I actually got my tour card, which I thought would be for years to come. Obviously it wasn't, but I got on the tour, and then the first tournament was in the Venetian in Las Vegas. I did really, really well. I got through. I actually finished in 7th place in the first one, and I played Dennis O'Colo in the last match, and I beat him 8-4. And when we came back to the scoreboards to see who made the final 6 players, I'd missed out by 0.2 of a rack in rack difference between me and Dennis. So if I'd have beat him 8-3, I would have progressed into the last 6, but
a lot more money too.
Well, yeah, a lot more money, but yeah, it was a shame that the IPT.
But that was all okay. So that was all building up to 2007. When you came into the 2007 World Pool Championship in Manila, did you feel that you had a chance to win it? Were you playing at that kind of level?
You never think you're going to win it.
Yeah, it's 128 players.
You turn up and then the ball starts rolling, and and then you start to think, well, maybe I can win this. But leading up to it, that was in November, I think it was, 2007. In April of 2007, I had my child, baby was born. So, and then I won a Euro Tour. It was my first Euro Tour win in May. And then I won a few more tournaments leading up to it, and I was playing really, really well. Everything was great, So, and if you're feeling good, you usually play good.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I actually lost my first match 9-1 in the group stages. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
To a player called Matthias Circle. He's from, I think he's Slovenia, and he'd never beat me before the World Championships. And it was winner breaks in the group, first to 9. He broke and ran the first 8. So I'm sat there and I'm thinking, wow, I'm playing so well, and I think I could go deep in this tournament, and this guy, I can't get to the table. So anyway, I ended up winning 1 rack, and then I scratched on the break. So he beat me 9-1, and then from there I thought, well, I've just got to dig deep, and I think Rodolfo Luat was in my group. I beat him, and then I beat someone else, and then I got through the groups. the draw comes out, last 64, I've drawn Ronnie Alcano, who's at the time reigning champion.
Yeah.
So that was going to be on the TV table. So my friend Craig Osborne, he said to me, that's perfect for you, that you've got nothing to lose. And I thought, well, yeah, I know I'm playing well, and I have got nothing to lose, so all the pressure was off me. And I played a blinder, I played really well, and beat him, I can't remember the score, but... And then all of a sudden, a couple more rounds, and then I've got to Bustamante in the quarters, and by this time I'm thinking, I honestly felt like I couldn't lose.
Right.
The snowball were getting bigger.
And then came that moment against Bustamante, which anybody who's seen this, it's still on YouTube. You can look at it. It's one of the most dramatic moments ever seen in championship pool. He goes for a shot, a kick shot. The 9-ball was married up against another ball, and the 9-ball goes in. It's late in the match. The crowd's going crazy, and all of a sudden, I believe it was Michaela, or was it Nigel?
Nigel Reese.
Nigel Reese calls a foul, and
Yeah.
you knew it was a foul, and everybody who was not going crazy knew it was a foul.
Yeah.
And he had, you know.
I think that was probably one of my best performances ever, because it was winner breaks, and I'd run, I think, 6 or 7 racks, and I was 9-2 up. I scratched on the break, and then from 9-2, he's gone 9-3, 9-4, 9-5. He's just running racks. He's got to 10-9 up, breaking. He broke. The balls are there, and then the 3-9 thing happened where he made the foul. So I've been sat there for a good, I don't know how long it was, but it felt like 2 hours. But so
the crowd
and then the crowd
is literally booing you.
Yeah.
Booing you.
Yeah.
In a pool match. There's 20,000 people there practically in the Araneta Coliseum. It was amazing, and they're throwing stuff as they're looking at the tape and everything. They're throwing stuff on the table. It was just nuts.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
Well, I've no idea how I did it, but
I mean, it's almost scary.
To make the final decision, it lasted around 20-25 minutes. From him actually playing the shot to me getting ball in hand and playing, it was about 25 minutes. So, and as the 25 minutes are going on, my arm's getting heavier and heavier, and I'm trying to think, well, if this goes my way, this decision, which it should do because it was a foul, somehow I've got to gather myself together, get my composure back, and try and run the rack, and then I have to break and run the next one, which somehow I did. So that foul was Bustamante's last shot in that tournament.
And then they're like, as the match ended, they're booing you again as you walk off.
Booing me. I got death threats, everything. I had to have 3 security guards walking around with me just to go get some food before my next match.
Right. So the next match. Okay. So you won the semi-final.
Yeah.
And then you come out that's the next day was the final. There was just one match against Roberto Gomez, and that was the famous match where he sort of collapsed and couldn't even hold the cue.
Yeah.
Did that make you feel confident while he was, I know you're in front of 25,000 people, how nervous were you? You obviously weren't nervous.
I was nervous, but
not like him.
I knew I could hold it together. And I just looked over at him. He was 15-12 up, and I got it back to 15.
Race to 17.
Race to 17. I got it back to 15 all, and I looked over at him before I broke at 15 all, and I thought, he can't win. I just looked at him. He was in bits. He was near to tears and everything. And then I think it was that rack for me to go 16-15 up. He had like a golden opportunity, and he's missed the 9-ball, and I looked over, and he was actually crying. He was in bits, gone.
So what was that like on the last rack when you were heading towards the title? What goes through your mind? I get a lot of people not many players find themselves in this position.
No, don't. Yeah, you might not get another chance. So I just thought, just keep your composure, keep doing what you're doing, and then we played a few shots, safeties back and forth, and I got a chance to make a bank on the 1-ball. I'm not the best banker in the world, so when it come up, I thought, well, do I want to lose the World Championship playing safe? It's there. I knew if I made this bank, everything was open. So I thought, well, I'm going to knock the front door down. I'm not going to mess about trying to sneak through the back door. I just went for it and made it and ran them out, and that was that.
What was the feeling like?
Well, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And then all the crowd, they all applaud. I mean, they wanted Roberto Gomez to win, but when it was all over, they were good.
Now let me guess. I remember you had to head straight to the airport, and everybody thought you were Ralph Souquet, right? At the airport.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I thought Ralph Souquet had
won the world.
Been stood in something and grown 2 foot.
Because he's quite well known in the Philippines, Ralph. He had been coming there for years, and you were new.
I was new.
You were new, but you didn't care, right? Because you had the cup, right? You had the $100,000 and the world title.
That was it.
Right. So that must have changed your life a little bit, huh?
Yeah, as far as pool goes, yeah, it did. Because then from there you're getting invited to all sorts of tournaments and money exhibitions and all sorts. It was big change for me as a pool player. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Daryl, thanks for sharing that story with us. That is still, I have to admit, I've been watching pool for 15 years. One of the great moments I've ever had covering pool. That when you made that run through the World Championship in the home, the same arena where Ali and Frazier had the thrill in Manila. That's pretty
exactly
thrilling.
That, yeah. And I will say, Darren Appleton, he went on to win World 10 ball, World 9 ball, etc., etc. And I think I was part of that because he thought, well, if he can do it, surely I can do it.
Yeah, you were a bit of a trailblazer for the Brits in England. In the Philippines, right?
Yeah, I got the ball rolling.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks a lot for sharing that story. The Dazzler, we call him, Daryl Peach.